What's up, my friends? I just wanted to do a quick reaction to my debate yesterday with High Impact Flix. If you'd like to watch it in full, you could check it out. The link is in the description. It's 4 hours long. I understand everybody doesn't have 4 hours. That's actually 1/6 of an entire day, but feel free to check it out. I wanted to do a quick breakdown and reaction, and feel free to watch the debate in whole context and disagree with me. This is just my takeaway from it. The reason we debated is because he called me out on Twitter and tried to say something when I talked about Operation Warp Speed and how much I disagree with what Trump's doing. And he's more like anarchy, libertarian, right-wing perspective where he doesn't like Trump and he doesn't like the two-party system. And I've seen his videos. We have different energy as people, but from what I've seen, I figured we get along on a lot, so I decided to do it. And I like a good challenge. I like being challenged. I like debates, so I did it. It was on his channel with mostly his audience. They were asking questions, and he even had a video to try to make me look like a hypocrite, which I knew was going to be loaded against me, but I like that. I like a good challenge, and I'm not really afraid of that type of stuff. It fuels me. I thought we were going to get along more than we did, and I thought it would go even smoother, but it hit a snag that lasted for hours because he was talking about voting and how both parties are evil. And I understand the communist left wing, Zionist right wing, two-party deception to the point where I think it's unsustainable. I think this year shows that President Trump and the GOP did not do enough. So we actually agree on a lot, but he takes a hardline stance where he was trying to say, if you vote, you are evil. And because he didn't vote, he was morally superior to me and everybody who did vote. And even at one point saying I was more evil than Podesta because I voted, which he then apologized and walked back the entire interview because he realized how stupid and dishonest that was. But in general, I get what he's saying. I get not voting. I get voting. I understand, like in South Dakota, in Florida, there are sheriffs, local elections, protections from mask mandates. Even on a federal level, judges and Supreme Court, there are pros and cons to voting, not voting, voting Democrat, voting Republican. And I really didn't want to make the whole debate about that because I think it was boring and people didn't like it, but he wanted to talk about it for hours and he just couldn't drop it. And he kept just poking at me, suggesting that I was evil and he slept so good at night. He has such a great conscience because he doesn't vote and he's so great. And this is where I have a moral difference with the anarchist and libertarian, and where I think High Impact Flix really exposed himself and got a lot of his followers to ratio him on his own channel, because libertarians and anarchists like this are total hypocrites and they can't hold themselves to their own standards. First of all, we went over it for like an hour, but not voting doesn't do anything. I don't vote. I'm not participating. Okay, it still happens either way. If both parties are corrupt and 95% of the population don't vote, they're going to go into power anyway. So it's funny that they take such a hardline moral stance on that, closing their arms, even though all objective reality proves that it's completely illogical and, to be honest, not as moral as they think it is. But they have such gaping blind spots in other parts of life that when you try to test somebody like me and make me look like the bad guy, you really just kind of expose yourself. So for instance, he's on Google. A lot of that super chat money that he was getting was going right through YouTube, which is Google. I think it's like 30 or 40%. So his logic of, if you participate in an evil system, even if it's the lesser of two evils, you are evil. And at one point even saying you're more evil than some of the most evil people on the planet. Yet he decides to participate in Google and YouTube, which are evil corporations that he knows are evil, but the pros outweigh the cons. And in such a wicked world, we all have to make sacrifices. The difference is, I don't think he's evil for not voting. I don't think you're evil if you use Facebook or Google. I understand the sacrifices being made. That's why I'm not a hypocrite. But he thinks every single person who votes is evil, knowing damn well that not voting is literally not the solution to overturning the two-party system. He complains about social engineering, yet supports and uses one of the biggest social engineering platforms on the planet. He constantly cries about how the Federal Reserve cartel is the #1 evil in this world, yet he doesn't shift off of the petrodollar and the United States fiat. He uses it like everybody else. And perhaps the best part of the debate, which I want to show you, is when I found out that this guy actually sells masks. Not only masks, but he sells them in the kids and babies section of his website. I think since filming this video, he took it down because he was embarrassed that most of his supporters obviously pointed out the gaping hypocrisy in his own libertarian anarchy logic. This is what he thinks of masks.
People are always asking me, hey, Brian, how come you're not wearing a ritualistic shame diaper on your face like all of us are? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a brainwashed, mind-controlled, cult-following, Kool-Aid drinking, fake stream media believing, politician worshiping idiot.
He knows the negative health consequences of them, yet he'll sell them to kids and babies and then say, well, I would never sell a product that's immoral and would hurt people, even though he knows this product does psychologically hurt people. When it comes to the cloth and the quality, which I'm sure he didn't check on Spreadshirt before he sold them, it can have physical damage as well. And his excuse was, well, it's a free market. And I was like, well, would you sell vaccines on a free market? And he made a moral reason for why that would be okay. Then I asked him if he would sell shackles on a free market if they were enslaving people, and he made a moral argument of why he would sell shackles. So I think this debate really showed why you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I have a lot of things in common with Christian conservatives, and I also have a lot in common with high impact Flix and the right-wing anti-two-party system people. I thought we were going to get along. I had no intention of calling him evil, but he kind of came at me, and I think his intention to expose and make me look like the bad guy really backfired. And it's always been weird to me how the right-wing libertarian anarchy type people have such gaping morality holes, like gaping holes in their moral compass. And it's bizarre to me that they think like that, but what's even weirder is the fact that they always think they have the moral high ground and they just sit there and say, oh, I voted for Joe Jorgensen. Well, I didn't vote at all. I'm changing the world. I'm changing the system. And it's just not true. And to be quite honest, I'd be willing to talk to him again. I think he's a nice guy who attempted to throw shame and wicked smears at me that bounced off and backfired. I would talk and I would debate again, but I do feel bad for people who really think that sitting there and not voting is going to change the system. I was reading the comments. Most of them were ratioed against him by his own supporters, but the ones who are against me, and I have no problem with that, I like being challenged, but they're like, Anomaly doesn't get it. He wants to work within the system, and Brian wants to destroy the system. That's a total false framing of it, because by not voting, you're not destroying the system. You're only convincing you and a small group of confused and dishonest people that you're changing the system. Well, I didn't vote. The whole system's gone. If we all didn't vote, the whole system would be gone. It's going to take a lot more than that. It's going to take protesting, financial, physical, millions upon tens of millions of people to reject the evil of whatever Bush or Biden or Trump does. That's what it's going to take. But without further ado, here's the part where I found out that he sells masks to his audience, and he made the moral argument for selling vaccines and shackles on the free market. Let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to watch the whole thing.
And somebody was asking about selling masks in my store. It's done by highly requested, because people in this world are forced to wear a mask or whatever. They're saying, people are telling me in email and chats and messages that their boss called them and said, don't bother coming in unless you're wearing a mask. You cannot work here unless you wear a mask. So there are people in situations that I'm not personally in.
Wait, you sell masks, Brian? You sell masks?
Yes.
I would never sell masks. I mean, that's insane. I didn't know you sell masks.
It's a free market. People, I'm not even against people who wear masks.
Is it a free market? It's a free market now. I would say it's not very free this year because of the lockdowns.
Well, there's always freedom in a market. You can have freedom in a supermax prison. There are people making alcohol. They're not free to do it.
Masks are evil. I would never sell
masks. Are evil? So if somebody chooses to, if somebody chooses to put a mask on, they're being evil.
You sell a mask. They're not. I mean, the whole mask mandate is evil. You're supporting the mask mandate, bro.
I'm not supporting the mask mandate.
You're not one to cast stones, my brother. That's
wild. Okay,
you sell masks.
So people,
that's wild.
So people aren't free to wear masks. People are free to take the vaccine. They're just not, nobody has a legitimate right to force you to do something against your will and without your consent, and then say you're going to, dude, are you going to, I mean, you interrupt a lot, man. I
have a mask exemption because I think this mask mandate is the enslavement of humanity. I would never sell masks. Are you kidding me?
I would never use a mask exemption. I just don't do it. I'm not going to condemn.
Crazy. That's crazy, dude.
No, you know what's crazy? So it's crazy to offer masks in a store that people can freely buy if they want and not force them, but you want to force people to live under a ruler? That's not crazy to you, but selling a mask is?
You going to sell vaccines when they come out because it's a free market? You're supporting the mask mandate by selling the thing that they're forcing people to wear? Dude,
selling a vaccine is selling a vaccine and making it available, even if it's deadly, is not antithetical to freedom. It's not antithetical to freedom. Not giving people a choice not to wear a vaccine, or they'll be or have a vaccine in their system, or else they'll be punished if they don't take it. That is dude.
That the government's forcing people to wear and enslaving them with. You're selling the tool in the free market.
I am not forcing anybody to wear a mask, man. But you are forcing somebody to live under a dictator. That's crazy. Okay, I want everybody to understand. Anomaly is shocked that somebody would sell a mask in the free market, but he's not shocked that he's going to vote for a person to oppress you against your will and without your consent, take your liberties, take your money, increase the coffers of the military-industrial complex. This is crazy. This is getting even more and more bizarre as the minutes pass.
I'm winning over your audience, Brian, because I can't believe you
That's
sell masks.
fine.
You're selling
Everybody
the
can
tool
go
that the
over to you.
government's using to enslave. You're a phony, dude. You're a huge
Wow.
phony.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't know you sell masks. That's crazy. I mean, that's the tool they're using to enslave.
You are literally destroying yourself. You are literally destroying yourself, man.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah,
So
it's not wild. It's not wild for me to vote for an oppressor, but it is wild for me to sell a mask that anybody could freely take or not take.
I can't freely not take. Are you kidding me? I get hassled everywhere I go on a plane. They kick you off.
I am not making you wear a mask. I am not forcing you to buy a mask. They're freely available. It's like a business is free to deny you service if they want to deny you service. It's their business. They can do whatever they want to. That's within the bounds of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's crazy, man.
What life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness do I have when I get arrested off of an airplane when they force me to wear a mask and you're sitting here selling masks, dude? I'm not. I wouldn't.
So offering a mask
that alone is shocking, but the fact that you try to hold me to these crazy standards when you're selling masks, dude.
Wait.
This is the problem with people like you, Brian. No offense, but you act high and mighty, total hypocrites. You know, get upset and emotional and angry at people, and then you don't even want to unite with people who are trying to fight the mask mandate. I have a website to fight the mask mandate, and you're selling masks.
Wait. You have a website to fight what? The mask what? The mask mandate.
Exposelockdowns.com.
The mask.
I have a website
The mask.
with packets to hand out to local politicians.
The mask
about how
what?
evil lockdowns are.
The mask mandate. The mask mandate.
No,
That's what you're fighting.
Read the.
I wore a mask. I wore a mask all last. I wear a mask all last.
You're not fighting the mask mandate, Brian. Your whole audience is disappointed with you because we're being enslaved right now by a communist Zionist.
I am against a mask mandate.
Why not sell shackles?
I am against it. If you sold,
and then they could force me to wear it on an airplane.
No,
Brian.
if you sold shackles, you are not doing anything against the principles of individual liberty. If you sell a mask, I wouldn't
sell shackles if they're using them to enslave people. You would sell shackles because you think it's like the libertarian value, bro.
What if people want to buy shackles because they're using it for something different than enslaving people? What if you're selling a mask because somebody's using it for something different than obeying and complying with a command? You would sell shackles. There is nothing inherent. You're going to tell me there's something immoral and something wrong with wearing a mask. I wore a mask all last summer when I was tearing out insulation. The reason I was wearing a mask was to keep insulation from getting in my lungs. If somebody's going to wear a mask because they don't want to lose their job, are you against that?
Well, first let's go back.
Answer the question. Answer both questions.
The insulation masks. Actually, that would be a righteous thing as far as the
righteous. It's neither.
For the forest fires because that's real. I used
to
wear a mask
that's not a righteous or an unrighteous.
Fires, but as far as selling a mask this year,
there's
to profit
nothing.
Off it while the government's using it to enslave it. I'm not here as Mr. I'm better than everybody, Mr. Libertarian.
It sounds like you are.
Best. I don't lie, but I would not do that. I understand it's a free market, but I just don't feel like that's a moral thing to do. I would not sell
based on what
a cloth mask this year.
Does it harm somebody? Does it threaten to harm somebody? Does it make them do something against their will and without their consent? Does it make them do something that they don't want to do? No, it doesn't. It doesn't go against freedom.
We are being forced to do that on airplanes and corporations, and in some states they're trying to force the mask mandate. I go to events with hundreds of people without a mask, and we rail against them. We don't use them. We pass out packets and try to get local politicians and restaurants to stop enforcing the mask mandate. I would never sell a mask, but I mean that's okay that you do, but it's just shocking that you do. I'm actually surprised as a supporter of yours. Like even if like someone I watched sold masks, not even in the debate, I would be like, really? They're selling masks? That's pretty wild.
Yeah, because people have requested them. They're like, hey, I got to wear a mask at work, but I want that thing that says contact trace this with the bird. So that's why I offer them.
When you're selling the product that forces people to they're kneeling down to the mask mandate, kneeling down to communism, and you're providing them the tool to do it. What I say
people are in a position. Okay, so basically you're saying you've never worn a mask. You've never worn a mask?
On an airplane, they force you to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They force you. You didn't do anything wrong by wearing the mask because you had to get somewhere. There's a guy. Let me just finish. There's a guy in New York City that has to take the metro, the New Jersey Metro, from New Jersey to New York City. Where'd you go?
I'm here. I just wanted to show you something.
He has to take the metro from New Jersey to New York City because he works in New Jersey. He's not going to be able to get home to his family because he can't walk 12 miles every single day one way, a total of 24 miles. He's got to wear a mask. So people like that ask me to have a Black Rifles Matter so they can have a message. What's the deal with that? I don't condemn
I got
people.
A mask exemption. I got a medical mask exemption, but when they force me to wear one in restaurants sometimes, I put that on. I put this on to troll them. So I'm like, I just make fun of them. So I put my helmet on.
So you're still complying. And you made fun of me. I've never complied with the mask mandate. Does that make me better than you? Nope.
I mean, no, I understand. I get your point, but I think you lost a lot of people with that. I'm not trying. I mean, I'm only one person. I have one opinion. I'm shocked you're selling masks. That's all.
Okay, I'm shocked that you vote for the chains of my own oppression. So I'm more shocked about that.
I understand that, but I'm yeah, that was a wild card.
What's worse, voting for somebody to steal from you and make laws that will punish you, or just offering somebody that they can take or leave? What's worse?
You have to convince your audience, not me.
I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. What's worse? I'm asking you.
You don't have to convince me. I'm
not trying to convince you. I want an answer to the question. What's worse? Asking somebody to oppress another person and putting that in writing in the form of a vote, or making something available that people can take or leave if they want?
You're framing the question in your own benefit.
Just tell me. No, tell me what's worse. Of both of those two choices, what's worse?
Someone said Brian supports the mask industrial complex, mass feed cancer and decrease oxygen. That's an immoral product.
Answer the question. Are people free to reduce their oxygen if they want to?
Are you trying to destroy people's immune system? It's like you're framing the question to make people free to? It's not an honest framing.
Are people? Which one's worse? Tell me which one's worse. Asking for begging a master for the chains of their own oppression, or offering something in the free market that they can take or leave, that they can opt out of.
I'm physically in the flesh with hundreds of people speaking at events.
Answer the question. You don't want to answer the question because you know
mask mandate, Brian, and you're fueling it.
You don't want to answer the question because you know it's far worse to beg somebody to steal from and punish other people against their will and without their consent than it is to offer something in the free market. That's the bottom line.
This is on your channel, so I came into this with like 90% of people disagreeing with me, and now like 90% of people are disagreeing with you, so I don't have anything to prove. I came into the Lion's Den where most people were calling me a crypto
Lion's Den. I was welcoming you.
Everybody's confused at why you're selling masks.
Everybody's confused.
Nothing to prove. This is not my forum. I wasn't questioning you because, to be quite frank, I don't know everything that you say, and I'm not gonna dig into everything, but you came to question me, and I'm just shocked that you sell masks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I know you take great comfort because you've said this many times that people you like the opinion of the majority, and I could care less about the opinion of the majority.
I'm saying I came into this with your own audience being the majority of the people here because it's on your channel, and now the majority of your own audience doesn't even agree with you.
I know,
so it's the majority. I've never sacrificed my values.
If 90 you take comfort, you take comfort in the majority, man. This is crazy, man.
No, it's your audience, Brian. I'm just saying.
I know you're just saying because you've just said like 10 or 15 times, man.
I don't see you living up to your same standards. I get you have this like libertarian ideology.
It's called free market. It's called free market.
Saving people, and it's okay to sell masks, but I find that quite shocking, and to be quite frank, quite telling. But it's all good. I don't care what people think, or else I wouldn't have done this interview.